Welcome to the Box Score Sports Podcast.
Okay, well, okay, why don't we get into our headlines? Our first headline that you and I will be discussing is the Battle of the Titans yesterday. Didn't look like much of a battle. The Ravens ended up beating the 49ers 33-19. Brock Purdy had about, four interceptions. Sam Darnold contributed there for another interception. Lamar Jackson had a really solid outing. He had 2 touchdowns. With 252 yards. He also had 45 yards rushing. McCaffrey had a good game, but he only carried the ball 14 times, probably because of the fact that they were down early. Well, it wasn't really early. It was, what was it? It was 12-13, and then all of a sudden, after halftime, the Ravens kind of broke away. What are your thoughts on the game?
Well, like you said, it wasn't a close game. I thought this would have been a really battle, like a close battle all the way to the end, but it wasn't. The Ravens really is showing that they are the best team in football right now, and that's what it looks like. And it was in San Francisco. Watch out for the Ravens. I'm saying to the AFC and to whoever they meet up in the Super Bowl, because it's looking like the Ravens might pull away with this, Ryan. They played like it was the Super Bowl yesterday.
Do you think this was more said more about the Ravens or more about the 49ers?
I think it was more about the Ravens.
Yeah.
I mean, we all been saying every week that the 49ers are in a class of their own. They're pulling away. This wasn't even a close game.
That's true.
So this says more about Lamar Jackson. This says more about John Harbaugh's, team than the 49ers, because the 49ers just got stomped out of there. Brock Purdy's the leading MVP candidate and throws 4 interceptions. This isn't what we're used to seeing of Brock Purdy, this season. We don't see Brock Purdy throwing 4 interceptions in one game. So it just seemed like the San Francisco 49ers didn't know that, they didn't look like they've ever played football a day in their life. It was really shocking, but that just says greatly about how good the Ravens defense is. We kind of been sleeping on the Ravens. I didn't see this coming, Ryan. To be honest with you, I thought the Niners would win. I thought it'd be a close game, but I had the Niners winning this game. But wow, kind of disappointing.
I would agree. I thought I had the Niners kind of winning this one. I think by like a touchdown. I would say like 30-21, something like that. But the Ravens defense really, I don't know if it confused Brock Purdy, but they were attacking him. And it made him, make some mistakes. I thought the first interception was kind of like an unforced error. Like Brock Purdy, I don't know what he was looking at, where Hamilton was kind of just playing a cover. It looked like a cover 2 zone, and the Deebo Samuel was running towards him. But I don't know. It was not a great showing by him.
George Kittle had a great game too.
Yeah.
So it's like, man.
Yeah,
it's unfortunate. The Ravens did what they had to do.
Yeah, they did. Real quick, the Lamar Jackson is now getting a lot of what's it called there? MVP buzz after this game.
Absolutely.
Are you feeling that he's the favorite now?
Mm-hmm. I still think it's Tyreek Hill, but that's if Tyreek breaks the record, which I don't know if he is, Ryan. But I would my MVP vote was Tyreek, but after this game, Brock Purdy I think's out the race now.
Mm-hmm.
After this game, this is a huge game that this was the worst game that you don't show up in against a head to head, because it was both of them, right, that they were talking about. Lamar Jackson, Brock Purdy leading the MVP races. It was between both of them. That's what everybody's saying, because it's a quarterback award. So this was a game that Brock Purdy was not supposed to do terrible. If Brock Purdy would have threw 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, and would have played a clean game, I would say maybe it'd be Brock Purdy still, but he did terrible, man. He just sweat the bed on this one, and I think it's safe to say Lamar Jackson might get it, because like you said, or like we all say, it's a quarterback award, so it might be Lamar Jackson,
Yeah.
But me personally, I still think Tyreek should win it if he breaks the record. But
Yeah, no, I
yeah,
agree. I agree. Or the other option would be Christian McCaffrey because he's playing out of this world.
yeah, that's true too. But I
Um,
just because they lost,
yes,
they
yeah,
lost to
this
the
was a big
Ravens.
game.
This is a big, yeah. This I think neither of them are gonna win it now.
That's fair.
You
That's
know,
fair. Would you? So with that in mind, again, one thing that me and you have been consistent about the last couple of weeks, then,
Mhm.
even though we both thought that the Niners before this game was on, like in a class of their own,
Yeah.
um, it just shows that there's really no team. I feel like that is like just above
And I
the entire NFL.
and I kind of said that on Twitter the other night. I'm like, man, I just feel like everybody sucks. Like it's everybody's so mediocre, man. Like
Yeah,
it's not like back in the days, man, where you knew like the Peyton Manning led teams or the Tom Brady led teams that they were the best teams heading into the year before the season even started. You don't have that nowadays. You're like,
correct.
nobody knows anymore. And maybe that might be more dramatic. That might be more interesting.
Yeah.
But the quarterback play in this era is just terrible. It's like,
Oh,
and it's a quarterback led or driven league.
right.
So I don't know. I don't know. It's kind of boring to me,
No, I
honestly.
well, it's boring, but it's like also like dramatic. Like I don't know, it's a little both.
Yeah.
Especially when you think of the mediocre teams, because really, there's probably 4 to 6 teams that could get to the Super Bowl and win it, but yeah, I don't know. You want to read Megan's comment? I think
Yeah.
that's Megan.
Yeah, she said that she needed the Niners to show up for her fantasy football team.
Yeah,
Uh-oh.
that's rough. Yeah, did not
Yeah.
show up for her. So I don't know if she's eliminated from playoffs now or if she's got another week. I got to check on that. But it's funny because I also needed the Niners to play awful in order to win a league, but that didn't happen either because Ayuk went off. So
Yeah, he
kind
did.
of a double-edged sword for me. Anything else on this game? The Ravens or the
Where
Niners?
do you think well, Philly won, so do you think that puts I know they got the tiebreaker though. So the Niners are still number 1 seed. Do you still feel confident in the Niners going to the Super Bowl still after this game
Honestly, I don't feel confident in anyone going to the Super Bowl.
anymore?
Even like the Ravens. Like the Ravens,
And they
they're
were kind of like, that's why it's so surprising that they beat them so bad, because the Ravens struggled with the Browns and lost to the Browns.
yeah, they barely beat the last couple weeks. They barely beat the Chargers.
Right.
They barely beat the Rams. They beat Jacksonville, but Jacksonville like shot themselves in the foot so many times, and they only won by two and a half scores there. And then they beat the Niners. They intercept the ball. Um, 4 times, and they still like by halftime it was still only like 20-12. It wasn't like they were blowing out. It didn't get out of hand until the third quarter. So to me, I don't have any of these teams, making
Where you're like, they're gonna win the Super
confident.
Bowl. This is it.
Right,
Like,
right.
right,
I'm not
yeah.
confident in any team right now.
Me neither.
Yeah, yeah, it's just crazy how week to week. Now I guess they did take it a little personally. The Ravens did, the fact that they were underdogs in this game.
Right.
But I was like, well, you're on the road, so you're always going to be, if you and a team are equal, you're always going to be the underdog. So I didn't
Right.
understand that, but it worked for them. So,
But also, they've been hearing, nobody has the Ravens. Nobody had the Ravens as a top team in the NFL, even though their record says it for them. But nobody heading into this game was like, oh yeah, the Ravens are the most scariest team in the league. The Ravens are going to the Super Bowl. They got it locked. Like nobody's saying that. So
correct,
everybody had the Niners. Everybody's been saying that about the Niners.
correct.
So that's why they felt disrespected, because they felt like, oh yeah, the Niners are just gonna just roll over the Ravens, especially them losing that game and going into overtime with the Rams and losing to the Browns. I mean, some of their games have been kind of questionable. Like what you were saying, you're not confident in any team because nobody's running away with anything right now. And then now
Correct.
we had the Niners running away with everything, and then they just lose this game. So it's like, oh man, no, we don't. Nothing's safe in this.
Thanks so much for watching this clip of the Box Score Sports podcast. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you haven't yet, please subscribe to our channel. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter or X. And we'll talk to you guys real soon. See ya.